Good evening, everyone. This is Henry Gambell with SimplerOptions.com, and in tonight's free video, I wanted to take a look at the iShares Biotech ETF, or IBB. When you look at this, and a couple of things that come up as the first piece of your analysis, or the first piece as to why it may come up on a scan and you might want to trade it, is the daily squeeze. This is a signal that tends to provide good moves. I mean, you can see what you saw back here where we had the 3 dots of consolidation. While it was a little tricky with the move just above the 8 and the gap higher, it's just the first heads up that you're looking at something that is about to move. So in that way of thinking, we've had the same 3 days of consolidation, a very nice close at today's highs, and a couple of things that I'm keeping in mind, because anytime you look at a chart like this and you want to play the daily to the long side, first come back and look at your weekly and just make sure there's not any bigger picture analysis that you may need to take into consideration. As you take in the major all-time swing high and run that against the low that was made thereafter, you can see that you have a 618 retracement of that swing right there at about 339. So I think that will be an important area of resistance, but ultimately I think we get through it. I think the daily squeeze could drive us at least up into those prices, and that's a move that I would like to try and participate in. Now, anytime you look at something like that through an ETF, it makes sense to come back down and drop it into its individual components. If we're looking at IBB as being the ETF, and then looking at its top 10 components here, we have REGN, Celgene, and Amgen. Now, as I was going through these, we'll start with REGN, I did not see a pattern that was as accommodating to me. To argue that it would find support at the 200, probably a fair argument, but now you're right back up into the 21 that should act as an area of resistance. Of course, it could continue to push higher, but those are areas that I have a tough time buying against. Then when you take a look at Celgene, kind of a similar discussion where while this one does look much better, I'm not that crazy about buying these at the highs. Other pieces of this that I'm taking into consideration to ultimately tell you the trade that I'm looking at is to also say that if you're looking at these tickers and saying, yeah, I can see why they're maybe not at the easiest place to buy them, then you also have to consider the implied volatility around earnings and working through that, which may not be, there are a lot of nuances to that, and it may not be terribly straightforward. So at the end of the discussion and going through these various names, I'm going to go back to the ETF itself, and this is where I'm going to focus on my basic bullish setups. I think you can start with the concept of buying calls and selling puts in the October monthly series. I also think a butterfly that would align up here at the 340 body all look like good trades as we head into that next monthly expiration. So those are the thoughts I have on the Biotech ETF as of now. I hope that is helpful, and we will see you guys at the next free video.